Okay, so I just finished the Arc Raiders Tech Test 2, and let me tell you, I was not emotionally prepared, but I was pleasantly surprised. This just may be Game of the Year. So what is Arc Raiders? Developed by Embark Studios, it's a third-person PvPvE extraction shooter that throws you headfirst into a world that feels like it's constantly on the verge of collapse. And here's the thing, I'm not into extraction shooters at all, but I love the finals, I love Embark, so I was definitely going to give this the old college try. And when I got my code for the Tech Test 2, I was amazed at how surprised I actually was. In this game, you play as a raider, scavenging across ruined landscapes after a mysterious alien threat. The Arcs have started dropping mechanized terrors from orbit. And when I say dropping, I mean literal sky-falling metal nightmares that will not hesitate to stomp, shoot, or slice you into pixel confetti. You spawn in a war-torn industrial zone and eerie wilderness, each filled with loot, danger, and just enough environmental storytelling to make you wonder what really went down before you arrived. The moment-to-moment gameplay balances risk and reward perfectly. Do you dive into that abandoned warehouse for high-tier scrap, knowing full well it could be a kill box? Or do you keep moving, hoping the next building holds better fortune? The world? Absolutely freaking stunning and deeply unsettling. It's like if War of the Worlds had a baby with Escape from Tarkov and then raised it on VHS tapes of Blade Runner. Busted up towns are littered with remnants of past battles, burned out APCs, twisted steel, broken radios still crackling with static. Creepy factories hum with lifeless energy. The lighting design alone adds emotional weight, with thick fog and sudden lightning strikes that make you jump even when there's nothing around. And again, I've talked about the sound, but the sound development in this game is downright freaking scary.
Leadership. Oh god! I just got spotted, bro. Bots on me. I'm getting tased. I gotta reload. Talk to me, Baker.
I hit it all for my whole magazine.
Down. Oh, almost down. Reloading. There's one more.
One's down. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, dude. We have a giant win. We have another giant one.
There's stairs right here, buddy. Right here. Oh my god.
Bro.
Oh.
And don't get me started on the dynamic weather. Getting caught in a rainstorm during an extraction run is straight up cinematic panic. The atmosphere lives, and it never lets you forget that you're prey as much as you are a predator. So here's the loop. You drop in, gear up with whatever cobbled together weaponry you can scavenge, pray to the RNGesus that your spawn point doesn't suck, and start navigating a world that wants you dead in 17 different ways. You loot structures, scan the skies for drones, keep your ears open for any signs of enemy footsteps, or worse, the metallic clank of an approaching arc. And don't even get me started on the moan, the roar, the killer whale sound some of these one of these things make. Oh my god, it's a hair raising.
There's a bastion on the bison.
Yikes.
And then, and only then, you extract, if you're lucky. Simple in theory. In practice, it's a cocktail of constant tension, chaos, and that sweet dopamine when you pull off that clean run. It's the digital equivalent of trying to do your taxes during an earthquake. And the encounters are as unpredictable as they are exhilarating. You can be laughing it up with your teammates over a voice chat, trash talking about that previous mission, when all of a sudden the tree starts shaking and the sound hits your headphones that can only be as described as industrial death purring. In that moment, you have two choices. Sprint like your loot depends on it, because it does, or square up and pray your squad remember to reload. In the PvP, yeah, It's deliciously treacherous. I had players wave, crouch spam to say hi, and then immediately turn on us with zero hesitation. It's like DayZ's paranoia meets Destiny's gunplay. One match in particular still lives rent-free in my head. We were barely holding on, ammo low, gear degraded, morale slipping. We stumbled into a tense firefight with another squad who just got done doing some key-coded loot. And by some miracle, we won. I don't mean we won. We freaking stomped them kids into the ground. We patched ourselves up with little scraps, limped toward the extraction zone, and just as that elevator came into view, an arc slammed down from orbit, missiles blazing, and wiped us in seconds. It was brutal, beautiful, and somehow made me want to queue again immediately. But with this time, a free loadout. And that's right. If you want to go in there with a free loadout instead of your own stuff, you definitely can do that. That right there is Arc Raiders magic turning failure into obsession. And truth be told, I wasn't ready for how tense this game gets. You think you're loading into a shooter, but halfway through the match, it starts feeling like you're starring in a survival horror game. The atmosphere is soaked in paranoia. Every second you spend in the world, you're anticipating danger. The quiet isn't calming, it's nerve-wracking. Every distant sound feels like a threat. Wind through the trees? Maybe. Enemy squad circling your position? Also, maybe. An arc creeping up silently behind you? Most definitely. This isn't just ambiance, it's pressure, applied surgically. The way Arc Raiders uses stillness to amplify fear is freaking brilliant. You'll be crouching in a building, watching the door like it owes you money, listening for what might be footsteps or might be just a creaking pipe. It doesn't matter. You're on edge. And when the tension finally breaks is when the enemy reveals himself or the arc comes barreling around the corner. It's pure adrenaline. They had the little fireball things, little spider things that like jump on your face, kind of like from the Aliens movie. It's wild. I think they're ticks. Maybe they're ticks. I don't know. Either way, what's really cool is when a tick jumps on your homie's face, you can shoot it right off. That's pretty rad. And the lightning is oppressive in the best way possible. It's not just moody, it's calculated. Fog rolls in to cut your visibility down to panic levels. Spotlights cast long shadows that could be enemies or just your imagination. And you have a flashlight that I think lasts forever. Anyhow, darkness isn't just to obscure, it's to unnerve. The shadow feels like they're hunting you. Now, coming from a background that consists of zero extraction shooters, I really had no idea what I was getting into. And I heard games like Escape from Tarkov can have quite the learning curve. But I gotta say, everything in Arc Raiders was super intuitive. From the very beginning, when you jump into like the tutorial for movement, into navigating the menu system, and then you go down to the central hub down at Speranza, working with the traders, looking at the skill tree, how to pick things up, how to drop items, how to repair items, how to sell items. All of that was just easy to do. It made a lot of sense. It had nice little tutorials, and it all felt very clean and intuitive. I could navigate around all of the menu systems with ease. There was no convoluted navigation, no cryptic icons that looked like they belong in an alien operating system. It was clean, responsive, and most importantly, logical. There's no overcomplicated gear Tetris, no fiddly micromanagement. You loot something, it's clearly labeled, you equip it, it tells you exactly what's changing, boom, done. You're back to the action. The loadout screen is a standout too. Switching weapons, adding attachments, and comparing stats is all visual and immediate. No spreadsheet vibes, no information overload. Even the stash management, often the Achilles heel of inventory systems, feels like it was designed by someone who actually plays games in this genre and understands the pain of sorting through endless clutter. And the crafting? Well, or I guess in this game it's called workbenches? I mean, you could upgrade the workbench, and just the whole thing was surprisingly painless. You can collect resources, head to the workshop, and everything you need to craft, upgrade, or mod is right there, organized in a way that respects your time. Modifying weapons doesn't feel like you're doing calculus either. It feels like assembling something functional and deadly, with clear effects on your build. I didn't rage once trying to figure out how to equip my armor or optimize my setup. In a genre where many games throw overly technical systems at players with minimal instruction, Arc Raiders finds a sweet spot between depth and usability. Now that's a huge win, and it speaks to how well Embark understands the player experience. In fact, the only thing I ever did get frustrated with the game was finding or locating one thing that I needed for part of a quest. But I gotta be honest, that's kind of part of it, right? Like, you don't want to go end game so quickly, so I'm not totally mad at that. It was just a little frustrating in thinking about where I needed to go to find the item that I had to find. So anyways, when it comes to the visual style, the game is freaking beautiful. It doesn't just whisper retro future panic, it shouts it from the rooftops with a flare gun. Embark Studios has built a visual identity that feels like 80s sci-fi, Cold War propaganda, and dystopian surrealism got mashed together in a blender. And it freaking works, man. Environments are textured with decay and tension. Everything from flickering CRT monitors to the stained walls of an abandoned bunker tells a silent story. And I know I kind of mentioned it earlier, but the weather changes were awesome. The night raids, beautiful. Looking up at the full moon, seeing the Milky Way, it was just so mesmerizing. And then when it comes to technology-wise, all right, so I played this on PC, and I gotta say, this game is impressively stable for a tech test. Like, I had to keep reminding myself this is like a beta, and I was running on a mid to kind of maybe high-end rig, probably not high-end rig, but I had an Intel i7 and a 4070 standard, and the performance was rock solid. I had everything turned up to epic, and I was able to max out my monitor's FPS with only the occasional dips. That's a huge plus for immersion. Nothing pulls you out from a moment like stutters in a clutch gunfight, and thankfully, Arc Raiders kept it smooth. Load times were surprisingly snappy, even when moving from matchmaking to loading screens and into the open world, etc., etc. There's only a couple of issues of some of my friends that I was playing with. They were on console, that sometimes their consoles did the game on their console did crash, but I had no crashes. I basically had no bugs. Everything felt really good, and I gotta be honest, the game felt almost like it was ready for launch, like right now. I think they're gonna do another tech test, but by God, I don't know. I don't know how you make, in terms of how the game functioned, how it performed, or shall I say the performance of the game. It was just really clean. It was really good. All right. So the final thought here is, if Embark keeps this energy going and all signs point to them doubling down, Arc Raiders could be a generational title in the PvPvE space. It's got the flavor, it's got the fear, and it's got the fun. But more importantly, it has a foundation that feels engineered to evolve. The core gameplay loop is gripping, the technical framework is solid, and the emotional intensity is unlike anything else in the genre right now. I gotta reiterate, I am not an extraction shooter aficionado. I never played one because I don't gravitate toward it. It doesn't interest me. And I found myself having an absolute blast. Now, what I mean is, like, I was freaking terrified every moment I was above ground, but that's what the game aims for, right? Like, it created an emotion within me. And to me, that is a big win. But seriously, I can't wait for this game to come out. I'm hyped, not cautiously optimistic. I'm genuinely excited. This test did exactly what a test should do. It proved that the concept works, that the team has the talent to execute, and that the community is already hungry for more. It hooked me, thrilled me, and convinced me this might be the beginning of something really special. And I'll be right there, boots on the ground, when the next drop hits.